Jason and the Giant Pumpkin Patch. Jason woke to a crisp morning at Grandpa's farm. He pulled on blue overalls and ran outside to breathe the cool air. Leaves crinkled under his boots and the sky smelled like apples. Mama waved from the kitchen window, and Grandpa tipped his hat, smiling. Jason loved pumpkins more than almost anything, orange round friends that could sit on porches or wear leaves for hats. Today, Grandpa promised a surprise, a walk beyond the hill to a place called the Giant Pumpkin Patch. Jason and Grandpa walked hand in hand down a little path that hummed with the sound of wind. They found a narrow gate stitched with vines and a tiny wooden sign that read Giant Pumpkin Patch. The grass tickled Jason's ankles, and he felt his heart beat like a small drum. Midge, the tiny mouse, darted across a stone, twitching a tiny scarf as if to say hello. The soil smelled warm and sweet, and somewhere far inside the field, a soft glow winked like a secret. They stepped into a hum not loud, but like many small bells. Pumpkins of every size dotted the field, some as tiny as apples, others as big as carts. One pumpkin near the path had a friendly carved smile and gentle eyes that seemed to blink. Jason pressed a small hand to it. "Hello," he whispered. The pumpkin answered with a little rumble and a warm glow. Grandpa chuckled. "That's Poppy," he said. "Poppy loves visitors and songs." Jason grinned and started to sing. The friendly scarecrow nodded from a row of corn stalks, and the golden bee hummed above like a tiny conductor. Around them, pumpkins swayed and softly hummed back when Jason sang. Midge, the tiny mouse, danced across a vine, making Jason clap, and the wheelbarrow leaned patiently by a path. Everyone in the patch seemed to work together. Pumpkins tucked their stems close, vines braided gently, and the moon, high even in daytime, watched like a silver friend. Jason felt he had stepped into a giggling garden. A small seed rolled from a big pumpkin and landed near Jason's shoe. It wobbled like it was shy. Jason picked it up gently and held it against his palm. "We should help it," he said. Grandpa fetched a little patch of soft earth, and Mama brought a warm cup for Grandpa, but left Jason the tiny spade. Together, they planted the seed in the soft ground, speaking kind words as they patted the soil. Poppy glowed brighter, as if giving a tiny thank you wink. Day melted into evening, and lanterns were lit in mason jars on the farmhouse porch. The pumpkins in the patch shimmered like stars on the ground. "Tomorrow is the village parade," Grandpa said, folding his hands. Jason's eyes shone. He imagined a pumpkin big enough to carry music and laughter through town. Poppy rolled a little closer and seemed to nod, as if understanding every wish. Excitement fizzed in Jason's chest like sparkles. He and his new friends began to plan with soft, excited whispers. On parade morning, ribbons fluttered and the festival banner hung proud. The village gathered, chattering and smiling. The plan was simple: decorate Poppy into a friendly float. Villagers tied garlands and tucked ribbons into vines. Jason climbed gently onto Poppy's side to arrange tiny leaf flags, and Midge the tiny mouse placed a little hat on a small pumpkin that rode in the wheelbarrow. The friendly scarecrow led a cheerful chant, and the golden bee zipped about, polishing a shiny leaf like a tiny broom. Then came the big push. Poppy was very heavy, but the whole village grabbed ropes and braced their feet. "1, 2, 3, they sang. Jason clasped Grandpa's hand and gave a giggly shout. The pumpkin rolled slowly, creaking softly like an old wooden door, while laughter and singing filled the air. Children hopped and skipped beside it, and even the moon seemed to lean in to watch. The pace was steady and proud. Every shove was a shared cheer, and Poppy seemed to beam with pride. At the parade center, Poppy rolled like a glowing moon on Earth, and music twirled around every ear. Jason stood tall on a soft cushion of hay, waving to friends, and Poppy's face shone like a lantern. People clapped and danced. Even shy Midge squeaked with delight. The village cheered for kindness and cleverness, for hands that helped and songs that stitched everyone together. Jason felt a warm, buzzy joy ripple through him. All the giggles and helpers made his heart feel like a very full pumpkin. When the stars came out, the giant pumpkin returned to its patch. Villagers tucked small pumpkin lanterns around the vines, and the friendly scarecrow sang a soft good night. Poppy settled back down with a contented glow, and the little seed they planted poked up a tiny green sprout as if to say thank you. Jason yawned, hugged Grandpa, and Mama wrapped a cozy scarf around him. He whispered to Poppy, "I'll come back tomorrow," and Poppy seemed to hum a sleepy promise. Tucked in his bed that night, Jason dreamed of pumpkin songs and rope-pulling parades. In his dream, Poppy winked, and the friendly scarecrow danced with Midge on a tiny stage while the golden bee played a bell. Jason smiled in his sleep and thought about how helping hands and friendly hearts made everything bigger and brighter. The next morning, he knew the patch would be waiting with more stories to hum. He closed his eyes, ready for more adventures with friends who glowed from inside out.